Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sammy, United People's TV. He's always late, says Adam. Well, technically I'm on time. If you're the, I suppose no, you're still late every day. I don't care. I always start at 10:03. The reason I do that is to make sure that you're all here. You're all ready and waiting to go, and we are. So we're here to talk through the latest United transfer news. You know the drill by now. Feel really settled in this new studio and the new house. In with these shows, and fingers crossed we can be set with more transfers. We'll speak about Mbeumo a little bit later. The majority of today's show is going to be taken up speaking about exits. And we all know the importance of exits this summer. We'll speak about Barca and Rashford. I've been kind of like naysaying it. I might have been wrong. First time ever. We'll also speak about Sancho and the fact that he's getting linked with different clubs now, Juve and Fenerbahce, after links that some of you tried to mention in the show yesterday. It's been corroborated, so now we can discuss it. We'll speak about Antony and Real Betis. Something's changed there, which may well, hopefully, speed things up. And as always, I'll run through the chat. Let me see who's here. Philip, thank you very much, dude. You love the studio. I love the studio too. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, can I tell you some cracking news here this morning? I got confirmation that the P.O. box is opening on Friday. So on Friday, I'm going to have the P.O. box address for you, and then you can send stuff in. Anybody who doesn't know, this whole space here, that whole big space up there is a massive cork board. It goes around the entire room. You can only see one side, 3 walls of it, and it's going to be where you can send me stuff in that you want to get pinned on the cork board, and I'll keep adding to it. When it starts, I'm going to add these 2. That's my first ticket to Anfield, and just a random ticket I found from 2011 when we played Birmingham. I'm going to stick both of those up there. I'm looking forward to sort of seeing what you send in and making it a proper like community studio, I suppose. I think it'll be very unique. That's what I think. Let's see who's here from the mod and the member gang. I can see some generous fans down here. Toby kicking off with 10 gifted memberships, and A3D, I'm going to call you Aid, kicking off with 5. Good morning to both of you. Who's here? Gungshi, good morning to you, dude. The OG. Josh, the OG. There's plenty of OGs down here. Josh, you're there as well. Stephanie, you're there too. Carl, you're here as always. Skinny G, good morning to you. Got Paul Gerard. It's an unfortunate second name. Chris, good morning to you. We've got Patrick, Tim, Ayush, Imtiaz. And let's say hi to some non-members and we'll get on with the show. We've got Joe Warren. We've got Tamid. Beyond Fitness, how you doing? Finn Hayden and Benjamin. Get cracking with the show. Let's get cracking with the show. Let's sell Sancho, please, says Andre. Look, trust me. I want to sell Sancho too. Although I actually probably would I think I do put selling Garnacho as a bigger priority than selling Sancho. I'll explain what I mean there. I think it's mainly about the fact that I think we'll get more money for Garnacho than Sancho. Everyone's in a charitable mood. Charitable? It's probably that's the wrong way to describe it. Not charity. But a generous mood here this morning. Abe with another 5 and Andre van der Haar. That is a top tier name. Andre van der Haar. I'm not fucking about with you. You'll beat the crap out of me. There's a lot of saluting going on this morning. But look, let's take a moment here for Leon. And then can we take a moment to, I don't know, take advantage. Any Leon players anybody wants to sign? I've seen people speaking about this as well. I've just seen Geordies trying to get angry. Oh, why is it, man? What? You never. I've got to work on my accents. I was going to do a Geordie accent there. I lost it. I'm actually normally quite good at accents. But Geordie's just getting angry that United are in debt and that Leon are in debt. And how can United get away? It's PSR. It's corrupt. I find it hilarious how Geordie's trying to have a moral compass about finances and PSR and corruption. Is that you are literally owned by Saudi Arabia, lads. Can't put those two things together? I don't quite know. They're just not all right, really. Quite a few of you are saying Fofana down there in the comments. I do feel sorry for Leon. Genuinely, I do feel sorry for Leon. But I'm guessing the reason they've gone down there is because the debt they've got is not sort of serviceable and it's not financially sustainable, as in they're have they been late to paying wages or paying bills or something that's affecting the absolute bottom line and the day-to-day running of their football club? Because as bad as United's debt has been, we've been able to unfortunately service that debt. I say unfortunately, fortunately because this hasn't happened to us. We've had all this debt, but we've been able to pay it because our revenues are so big. It just means we lose out on money that we should be spending on the club and are instead spending servicing this debt. But we can afford it. Leon apparently can't. Tony, thank you very much for gifting. Mate, everyone's in a Gungshi. You're dropping in with 10 as well. So no, it's good vibes in here this morning. Maybe it's because you've all heard news that we might be getting rid of Rashford and Sancho. Oh no. Right. Couple of here we go. Here we goes. Yeah, I suppose. Couple of here we goes yesterday from Fabrizio. Nothing to do with United directly. I just found it quite interesting. Pogba, we got here we go that he's going to be on his way to Monaco. And genuinely do wish him the best. I hope he refines himself. And I'll be honest, what a place to have a swan song in your career. Oh no, I'm so upset that I'm literally in the south of France, like enjoying that med lifestyle, playing football. He's going to have a great time. And then randomly as well, they've got Ansu Fati coming in. You know, a couple of years ago when Nice, I think it was when Dave Brailsford ended up being in charge of their like summer transfers. Nice did that mad summer where they signed like Ross Barkley, Kasper Schmeichel. Who was that winger who failed at Arsenal? One that was 70 mil. I've got his face in my head. What's his name? Left-footed. That's really annoying me, that. Where was he signed from? Chat, let me know. What's the name of that winger that Arsenal spent loads of money and wasted loads of money on? Come on. Need you to help me here. Pepe. Nicholas bloody Pepe. Really annoying. Anyway, there was a summer where Nice just kind of signed all these past it Premier League players. Maybe that's kind of what Monaco are doing here, just trying to sweep up a couple of, well, a free transfer in Pogba and Ansu Fati on loan. Might work, might not work. But let's speak about some good news here, right? And this is some cracking news. Well, it's not cracking news for the fact that Forest have rejected Newcastle's 45 million bid, but it's more the fact that they are coming in strong for him. And again, it's hilarious. Newcastle are going to end up part funding us signing Mbeumo. If they're going more aggressively for Elanga. Was it last summer that they had a 50 mil bid rejected? Or was it a 45 mil bid rejected last summer? I can't remember. Either way, they've had a 45 mil bid rejected just now. David Ornstein confirmed it yesterday. And if I'm correct, there's a 20% sell-on clause for Elanga. Jonathan, you're saying, how can he be worth more than 45 million? I mean, I don't think he is, if I'm being totally honest. But remember, and this is something that you always do have to remember, the value of a player is not necessarily how much that player is worth in the market. It's how much that player is worth to that team. And Elanga was an absolute centerpiece for that Forest team. The way that they played last season, sit deep, block your box, defend your box, explode on the counter-attack. And Antony Elanga was extremely lethal and very, very good at that. One of the best in the league at doing it last season. So as far as Forest are concerned, yeah, he's worth at least 50 mil to us. But it is mad that we're probably talking about Antony Elanga, if he was to leave Forest this summer, would probably go for more money than Manchester United would get for Alejandro Garnacho. That's a mad stat, which is probably true, actually. Glenn saying Forest aren't going to sell him for cheap to a direct rival. Is that as well? But I believe we've got a 20% sell-on clause. So if he goes for 50 million, you can do the maths. I'm guessing that United will get around about 10 million for that. And does that make me annoyed that United are sitting there watching Elanga move for X amount of money in the Premier League? No, look at a player and go, could he have done that in a United shirt? Possibly, but we weren't gearing towards playing that transitional style. We wanted to sort of go away from it and try to be a more controlling team. So it wasn't ever really going to work. I don't think Elanga would be the player he is now if he was still a United player. So I want United to have more of these, more players who, they could stay, they might be good, but then go elsewhere and become better. And then United get the sell-on clauses. And every summer, from now on, we end up getting between 10 and 30 million pounds worth of sell-on clauses being paid back in. Good. That's a revenue stream. That's a player every summer, potentially. Alex, thanks for super chat, dude. You're saying Barca paying 50 mil up front for Nico Williams, but want a Rashford loan. They're not short of money. We need him gone permanently. And I will be speaking about Marcus Rashford next. But no, Marcus Rashford third, actually, because I want to speak about him first. My own personal priorities in terms of the exits and what I want to happen or what I think needs to happen this summer, I'm going for Garnacho as the most important one to get rid of. Not just from an attitude perspective, but also from a how much I think we can get for him perspective. I think he's our most sellable player. So I think realistically, if we're going to get cash in this summer, I think Garnacho is our best bet. I think he's worth the most. And I think clubs will be willing to pay it. Quite a few of you talking about Elanga's professionalism, and that dude is an athlete. That dude is a proper athlete. Hakan saying Elanga finished third in the assists in the Premier League last year. I didn't actually know that, but he had a cracking season. Ideally, Newcastle go back in for him and they just get transfixed on signing him. Because they're not signing Mbeumo. Alan, thank you for gifting 10 memberships, dude, as well. Man, the community is coming in strong this morning. Now, only reason I've got Garnacho up here, unfortunately, there's not too much of an update on any potential exit for Garnacho. We've had... Who's been linked so far? Napoli. Arsenal have been linked, but I don't really think anything's happening there. And Chelsea. This is Simon Stone from the BBC saying, look, United weren't really interested in Nkunku in January, so I don't really know why that's going to change now, and it shouldn't change now. Not after we've got Cunha, not after we're going after Mbeumo. Nkunku's way too similar. If we're going to get another attacker, it's going to be a straight-up centre-forward. I think so, anyway. So, unfortunately, on the Garnacho side, there's not too much of an update. Yeah, ideally, we need all three of them gone permanently, but I don't think United are going to get an ideal situation this summer. And this is what we spoke about. And the man who doesn't know what compromise is in the English language is Jadon Sancho. But from Manchester United's perspective, there's going to have to be some compromise this summer. Do I want all three of them gone permanently? Yep. Do I want all the cash in? Yep. Do I think it's impossible for United to do that? No, I don't think it's impossible for United to do that. But it feels, at this moment in time, unlikely. Jadon Sancho, right? We know these links, right? Gianluca Di Marzio sort of confirming that Juve are going to be in further talks with United over a potential move for Sancho. What have the Sancho links been so far this summer? He obviously said no to Chelsea because he didn't want to pay the wages. I think Juve have been linked. I think Napoli have been linked. But yesterday was where this news came out. And this will be an interesting one. I don't know what it is about the Turkish league. Or whether it's just Galatasaray or whether it's Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. But they seem to be able to kind of sweep up players. Maybe I'm just doing a massive generalisation because of what happened with Osimhen. But Galatasaray were able to fund the Osimhen wages. And every summer there seems to be players who are big names like Wilfried Zaha maybe going there. Anyway, this is coming from the Telegraph saying Jadon Sancho is wanted by Mourinho. So Sancho could be given an escape route after Fenerbahce inquired about signing him. United are assessing options with him being made available. They've appointed Devin Ozek as their sporting director. The former Bayer Leverkusen official is currently looking at Premier League targets. Come on, Fenerbahce. I've always liked Jose Mourinho. I've never said a bad word against Jose Mourinho. Never. Never once. Champions League? Maybe. Don't quite know. They seem to be able to afford the wages of players who, I don't know, other clubs can't. I don't know whether it's the Turkish league being a mini Saudi. Mate, Leroy Sané. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. They just somehow managed to do it. That's fair enough, and it will do United a favour. The more clubs we get interested in Sancho, the more chance we've got of bloody just offloading him. I want 20 mil, man. I'm not being greedy. We got 5 mil from Chelsea. I want 20 mil. What do you conceivably think is a realistic demand for United? You can come at me and say 50 mil, and I'm just going to laugh in your face because you're not going to get 50 mil for Jadon Sancho, right? It's just not going to happen. Even though we paid 73 odd mil for him, it's just not going to happen, all right? I feel 20 mil is a realistic demand because, of course, you've got to weigh in the fact that he's got ridiculous wages. And that probably reduces United's ability to negotiate because to get a club to accept Sancho and those wages, we might have to reduce it. Where's raw sausage? I shouldn't really live that one down, to be fair. Half a Mars bar. Man, a Mars bar. So overrated. Although a Mars ice cream, the difference in quality between a Mars bar and a Mars ice cream, incomparable. Mars just gets stuck in your teeth and it's just awful. But Mars, I want one now, actually, Mars ice cream. When's too early to eat an ice cream? Is there like nah, you can have whatever you want. Josh, you take 10 mil for Sancho. 25 mil, people saying down there. 20 to 25. Yeah, I think 20 mil will be good for me. I mean, me personally. I'll take 20 mil and just see ya. 20 mil will be fine. But it's good to see more than one club sniffing around Jadon Sancho. Maybe not actually physically sniffing, but maybe physically sniffing. I don't quite know. Mirko saying, haven't you seen a Mars ice cream in a long time? You're missing out, mate. Mars bar is not better than ice cream. Snickers ice cream. Now we're talking. Calippo's your go-to on a hot day. Like your standard is Calippo, right? Because it's like you want the ice pop rather than the chocolatiness. But then sometimes you can back up the Calippo with a little cheeky supplementary Mars bar ice cream or Snickers ice cream. Sometimes a feast. If you're feeling crazy, you can go for a cornetto. Apparently, I want an ice cream. Who knew? Right. This one. This one's maybe I got it wrong, right? And I probably got it wrong because I've been looking at Rashford as a United fan. No, Josh, I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. I already know that. I've been looking at Marcus Rashford for what he is. He's a left winger. Marcus Rashford is a left winger. No one can convince me otherwise. No one can tell me otherwise. Oh, Rashford might be able to play as a number 9. Fine. He's still a left winger. Oh, Marcus Rashford can play on the right. No, he can't. Marcus Rashford hates playing on the right-hand side. So this whole time, I've been looking at Rashford and Barcelona, and I've been saying, well, obviously he's not going to move there because they're going to sign Nico Williams, and then they've got Lamine Yamal and they've got Rafinha. They've got everything they need as wingers. But that might be where I'm wrong. And this is what I want to speak to you about this morning. And this is coming from the Times, saying that Barca want Rashford on loan. And I want to have a discussion about it. Alex, you started it down there with the super chat earlier. This is what's been reported. Barca are preparing to make a loan bid for Rashford, even if they sign their top target, Nico Williams, this summer. Barca are in talks with Bilbao over a potential deal, 50 million release clause, we know that. He's informed Athletic Club that he wants to join Barca. Williams plays on the left wing. Look, blah, blah, blah. Rashford prefers to play on the left. It is understood that Barca head coach is a fan of Rashford and is aware of his flexibility in that he can operate on either flank or as a number 9. I'm gonna put this as a poll, right? I think Rashford leaves this season. I think he goes. What do you think happens with Rashford? Loan move or a permanent move? That's the poll. That's the question. And I think if there's going to have to be a compromise for United this summer, it feels like it might be Rashford. Because remember this as well, peeps. Players can stop moves from happening. If United were to get a £60 million bid from Al Nassr tomorrow for Rashford, we'd accept. Rashford wouldn't. And you're talking about Barca needing Rashford for marketing purposes. Why in the world would Barca need him for marketing purposes? And they've literally just won the league. They've got the most marketable young player in the entire world. They don't need Rashford for marketing purposes. Could he be, if they got him on loan, it'll be a perfect situation for Barcelona. Non-committal, somebody who can play on the left, can play up front, can play on the right, but is effectively a second choice in every single one of those positions. Let's be totally honest. That's why I don't think Barca will come in with cash. They've got cash. Well, I don't even know what Barca's finances are. Let's not even go to that conversation. Remember that whole summer we had to sit there and do up the Barca levers and Frankie de Jong, and oh my God, that was long. Let me see what you're saying in the chat, right? Mirko saying we can't have loaned him out twice in a row. Charles, you're saying just let him leave permanently. Wayne, you're saying I don't think we sell Garnacho, Sancho, and Rashford. Rashford will go out on loan. Stu, you're saying if loaned, Barca have to cover full wages and a loan fee. Hate to say it, but a loan looks like a likely move. Looking at the poll, 600 votes are in. 54% are saying a loan move, and 46% are saying a permanent move. If, and this is an if, right? Let's speak about the hypotheticals of a loan move. If it was a loan move, then it has to be a loan move that makes a lot of sense for United. And I'm talking about every single penny of Rashford's wage being covered and Manchester United receiving a loan fee in the region of 5 to 10 mil. And then an obligation being built into that contract, which doesn't have a 5 mil get-out clause like Chelsea had with Chelsea. Chelsea have with Sancho. And then if they want to buy him in the summer, then that 5 to 10 mil loan fee is wrapped into the actual fee overall. So say it was 40 mil overall. United sent him with a loan fee of 10 mil. They can then buy him for 30 mil in the summer. That way we get a little bit of cash in this summer. And also, from a cash flow perspective, Rashford's wages are gone. Which is around about, what is it? Next season, because of the Champions League withdrawal, which is the same as this season, I suppose. Probably about just over £1 million a week. Oh, £1 million a month, sorry. Not £1 million a week. You ain't that rich. Would I be happy with that? I'd rather we sold. That. The perfect situation, Wayne, is we sell Rashford. We get to 40 mil. We say good luck, and he goes. And it's the end of the story. Whoop. Siraj is saying Barada or Wilcox need to work their magic. They're going to have to try and negotiate a sale in. But if they can't, they have to make sure that this loan move is watertight. All wages covered. Loan fee. And wrap that into the obligation. Someone down there saying Barca will never pay that much for Rashford. Type yes or no in the chat. Do you think Rashford would take a wage cut to go to Barca? Do you imagine he did all this begging? And they actually came in for him. And then he said, no, you got to pay me more. I don't think that really matches up. I think Rashford would take a wage cut to go to Barca. Probably quite a decent one as well. Most of you are saying yes down there, and I think you're right. I definitely think that Rashford, you know, Sancho's just been like prioritizing money, money, money. Rashford just wants to play for Barca. Yeah, I think the word desperate is what should be used with that. It's so abundantly clear. Like having that interview with that Spanish YouTuber who's a Barca fan. He's putting in the work. He's out there training in Marbella. And maybe he would have done that anyway. But he's out there. He wants that Barca move. And if they do come in for him on loan, make sure you get a loan fee. make sure you get an obligation that's an obligation, not one. If you want to get an obligation that's not an obligation, put a 50% penalty in there for the actual value. Because I guarantee you, if Chelsea had that sort of penalty and it was a 12.5 mil fee they would have paid us, Jadon Sancho would already not be a Manchester United player. There's no way that Chelsea would have paid that level of fine. I'm surprised that's not standard. Here's a loan with an obligation. If you don't follow through on it, it's a 50% penalty. You pay half the value. That feels like a pretty obvious thing to do. Rather than, what was it? 20%? I think it was 20%. I don't know. Bit strange. What are we saying now? Rashford is 100% going on loan, says Martin, with us paying half his wages and no obligation. I mean, I don't think it's outside the realms of possibility. I just really don't want it to happen. I feel out of all of them, Rashford's the one that we're probably going to have to compromise on the most as a club. I don't think we'll have to compromise too much on Garnacho. I think we'll be able to find a seller, or we'll be able to sell him. Sancho, I think he's going to be cheap enough that somebody maybe will have to do some sort of subsidy around a little bit of the wages. Don't quite know on that one yet. But I think with Rashford, I think that's the one where we just can't afford to keep him at the club when he doesn't want to be here. Rashford cannot be a Manchester United player next season. It cannot happen. And Barca will know that. Hence why they come in first with a loan. And if you were a Barca fan, you would very much want your club to go in with a loan offer first for Rashford. We're just on the other side of the negotiations. We want rid of him. They're going to try and take advantage of the fact that we want rid of him. It's going to be a negotiation. All right? That's what happens. Two different sides, two different clubs who want two different things. That's negotiation. That's how negotiations work. But well done. We all learn things. Gary, thanks for gifting 5 memberships, dude. What about Antony? Well, it's almost like, boom, Antony was the next talking point. This is why I take my time to research. Get it all laid out so that the show flows. Actually, I hope you all enjoy and appreciate that. I always do think that the show does flow. We don't get stuck too... Sometimes you get stuck in a little bit of waffle. It's a bit of fun. I like speaking about ice creams. You know what I think? Solero's massively overrated. But anyway, back to Antony. Now, I'm hoping that this is something which actually speeds up the Antony exit. Let me go to the poll, by the way. We'll end this poll, and I can see it's literally bang on. It is 50-50. 1,060 votes, and it's 50-50 whether you think Rashford's going to leave on a permanent or a loan. Don't know. If I was to bet money on it, I'd probably say loan. Some people down there saying keep Antony. Hold your horses, man. Hold your horses. Move Antony on. Ain't nobody keeping Antony. We should be able to sell him, though. And this, I hope, is something which aids it. That there is Johnny Cardoso. And I've been sort of waiting for this one to happen. I thought it was going to happen a while ago, actually. He is moving to Atletico Madrid. We got the Here We Go yesterday from Fabrizio Romano. And you can see what the fee is. Real Betis have got some monies. Good. I mean, in an ideal world, that's what I'd like for Antony. Just a straight in, straight out. Simple, easy. Don't know. Anyway, Real Betis have got some money. So maybe that we've just been sitting here waiting for them to actually, do something. If we go to the whiteboard, which is updated, of course it's updated. All right. Antony wants Real Betis. Has done this whole time since he went there on loan. And has kind of been waiting for them. So fingers crossed this is something that accelerates it. If potentially the Brentford situation with Thomas Frank and then finding a new manager and Keith Andrews coming up from an internal appointment to become the new boss, if that was a delay in the Mbeumo deal, then that's been done now. And if Johnny Cardoso's exit from Real Betis to Atletico Madrid was sort of delaying, I suppose, the Antony negotiations, then good. All right, well, we can move on now. Brian saying, how are Betis so skint? I wouldn't say they're skint, dude. I just say they're like a normal football club. The Premier League has skewed everything. It wasn't the Premier League who skewed it first. It was Chelsea, pricks. Then it was City. Then it was PSG. And they all just they just skewed what was reality and what a transfer value was of a player. Because I still don't really know now because of them. But the Premier League in the last couple of years has just skewed it for everyone else. And how much we're paying for players, how much we spend every summer. It's nuts. So I wouldn't say that Real Betis are skint, are they? It's just the fact that we've got so much more money. Either way, fingers crossed. That now means Antony to Real Betis can actually gain some momentum. Swavy Radio saying, imagine not wanting to play for United. These players are insane. Get rid. I imagine it must have been... Not that I'm sympathising, right? I'm saying it must have been pretty damn hard to play for United these last few years. But at the same time, like sort of any time with adversity knocked, instead of like digging your heels in and doubling down and actually working as a team to fight back against it, they just went, I can't be arsed with that. And then they sort of turned and walked away. Anyway, let's speak about another exit. Well, not really an exit, I don't think. I don't particularly feel that... I don't think Onana's going to leave this summer. I think he should. I think United should replace him. As it stands, there's been absolutely nothing really linking him with a move away. All right? You've got Mike McGrath from Telegraph yesterday saying that Monaco want a new goalkeeper this summer. And they're looking at various goalkeepers. One of them was Onana. And this might shock you. But Onana's salary and bonus package are out of Monaco's reach. Dun, dun, dun. How many times have we heard this story? How many times have we heard this story at United? I don't actually think that Onana's wages are that outrageous. They're not like Sancho and Rashford's level. Either way. Nil point. We got Fabrizio Romano backing up saying that he's not a concrete target. It's gone completely cold despite the fact that, you know, he was being linked. So, as it stands, we go back to the whiteboard. Bam, 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 bam. Do you like the new look of the whiteboard, by the way? We gave it a refresh this summer. I think it looks lovely. If I do say so myself. You see that Jay-Z came out at with Beyonce in Paris. Banger. That would have been great. Great to be there. But the deal to Monaco is extremely unlikely as his salary and bonus package demands, which is spelt wrong. Can't get the staff these days. Unbelievable. There we go. Are out of Monaco's reach. So as it stands, actually going down there, I don't actually know what Onana's being paid, but I'm pretty sure it's not outrageous. Yep, no interest for Malacia, no interest for Shaw, and you can see down there, no interest for Bayindir either, really. Casemiro, Link, I've called them whiffy. That's all they were. The biggest movement certainly is around Antony. Sancho and Rashford, there's noise and there's some momentum today. Garnacho, no real updates. Højlund, Inter were linked. Now it's kind of gone a bit cold. Casemiro, not much. Still so much to happen on the old exits. But sod the exits, let's speak about the signing. Quite a few of you are sort of speaking about Capology. Like, I know I've used Capology, but I always give a disclaimer whenever I do a video saying that this isn't the gospel. But if we're going to use this as a ballpark figure, they've got Onana down as 120. I don't know exactly what he's on. But let's speak about him, right? And Mbeumo. This is coming from the Evening Standard, the article I'm going to run through, the London-based newspaper. And there were suggestions yesterday, again, we're speaking about wages. You remember when Luke Edwards for the Telegraph was really, really funny to watch his meltdown at the whole Mbeumo situation? Like, Newcastle were linked and he was their top target. And all of a sudden he's like, well, Newcastle are actually never really interested in Mbeumo. Oh, and by the way, United are going to pay him like $250,000 a week. Never liked her anyway. Very much that energy. You got reports from yesterday, and I'm not really going to bring the article up. I'm just going to mention it here, from Jamie Jackson suggesting that he's going to be on 150k. There's no corroboration on that just yet. But I imagine he's going to be very much on a similar wage to what Cunha is getting. And I imagine Cunha is going to be on a wage that's below Bruno. Man United's wage structure is getting under control from this summer onwards. Actually, it started last summer. Who got the most? Was it De Ligt who got the most last summer? I think it might have been. But all of them were definitely less than 200. Right. Anyway, this has been reported by the Evening Standard. Just a little bit more detail on what that bid was. Brentford make Mbeumo demands clear after United launched that fresh bid. And down here, club, and you know how we've spoken about the fee for Mbeumo, and whether we think it's right or whether we think it's wrong, and kind of a big part of why some of you thought it was too much was because he only had 1 year left on his deal. Didn't actually realise he's got the same thing that United have in a lot of contracts, the option to extend by a year. So while his contract does expire in June 2026, so next summer, it actually expires the year after because they can just extend it by a year if they want to. So that's why Brentford are being pretty tough and firm in the negotiations. There's actually no real worry. This isn't the last summer that they could sell Mbeumo for money. They'd have a whole extra summer. So that's why they're sort of negotiating in the way they are. And this is just a little bit more info on what the bid is. They're saying that Brentford are hoping to negotiate easier add-ons from United, whose latest bid is worth 55 mil up front, with a further 5 mil in add-ons. And we went to Laurie Whitwell and Simon Stone, said that United's latest bid was in excess of 60 mil. So let's find out. Well, actually, let's not find out. Let's just here we go, man. We're down to the itty bitty details. Probably the actual package itself. Brentford are like, yeah, we accept that. But can we put, can we put that one here or that add-on there? I imagine the add-ons will be around appearances for United, goals for United, whether United win any silverware. Optimistic, I know. And in an ideal world, that's what I always say. I said it with the Mason Mount situation when he looked at the price versus the one with add-ons. I said, I don't really care about the add-ons because if the add-ons are achieved, then Mason Mount's been a success at the club. And I think the same thing goes with Mbeumo. Is there a difference between paying 55 and 60 mil? Yeah, there's 5 mil difference. But if us paying 5 mil extra means that he's nailed it and he scored 20 goals next season and we win the FA Cup and the League Cup double, then I won't really say too much. The issue for United is how much, and this may well be actually where the negotiations are going on. How much do United have to pay in cash this summer? How can we spread these payments? I think with Cunha, and this was different because it was a release clause. So it wasn't really part of the negotiation. It was just there was a release clause. You either agree with the terms of it or you just don't sign him. With Mbeumo, United will be trying to probably spread that 60 mil over 5 years, which I think is the max you're allowed to do now with PSR. You know, Chelsea started those nuts contracts, like 8-9 year contracts, just to amortise it over a longer period. And then that got blocked. You can still give contracts out that long if you want. I don't know why you would. But you can only amortise the actual cost of a player over a maximum period of 5 years. So it might be that United are trying to do that to pay less cash this summer. It might be to do with the add-ons. But we're talking about minor details now. The Here We Go is coming. We've already got a thumbnail ready. We're already prepped with a profile video. We are ready to rock and roll with Mbeumo, man. And I'm looking forward to releasing that video. And also tonight, Matthew. Where is it? Ignore the date on this because I haven't updated it. But this we've had in the locker for a couple of weeks now. I'm a little bit annoyed that I can just get rid of the date so you can't see the date. Yeah. This is coming out tonight. All right. Not me. Our latest United People's Productions video. Tomo, the Diego Leon video is coming out the weekend. It's going to be recording that over the next couple of days. But this is a video about Ruben Amorim, about the problems at Manchester United, diving into the numbers, into the hard data, the facts and the conversation heading into next season. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. So make sure you do please have your notifications turned on. 7 p.m. tonight is when this is going to be dropping. What I want to know, says Ant, is when Batistuta and Schneider are signing. Man, Gabby Batistuta. Do you remember that goal he scored against Arsenal? I think it was at Fiorentina. Where was that? Was that like was that at Wembley or something like that? I can't remember where it was. Like, nearly took the bloody back of the net off. He was an awesome player. Yeah, so make sure you check that out tonight. That's the movie poster for it. We'll be dropping that on Twitter, and also it's going to be the thumbnail this time. First time that we've actually, because there's somebody who's been leaving a comment on every single video saying, and actually every single post that we release, you can see a couple of them here. So all of these are United People's Productions and the accompanying poster. I'm probably going to print this one off and we'll get that put up in the studio as well. I've got another couple of frames here. That's why I'm getting these ones on the wall. These aren't for sale. Maybe we can do some sort of limited releases for members, because I've seen quite a few of you that said you quite like them. I think they're cool as hell, man. I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit biased. Yeah, of course, Abhishek, the video's free. Goes without saying. But yeah, the thumbnail is actually going to be that as well. I think you'll enjoy it. Now, last little, I've seen some, you can see, like, Jashari, right? On Jashari, you can go to the linked whiteboard and we put him down there on the linked. He's another midfielder who has been linked with us, and Fabrizio Romano's just reporting that AC Milan are stepping up their interest in signing him. Do they see him as a potential Reinders replacement? Is that how you say his name? The lad who's joined City. I think it was Reinders. Don't quite know. Anyway, United are getting linked with him. And I'll tell you a video we're definitely going to work on in the background is, we've seen quite a lot of reports, certainly from Laurie Whitwell on The Athletic, that Ruben Amorim wants an athletic midfielder. I think there's a video to be done on, we had this conversation yesterday. What athletic midfielder? I mean, they're all bloody athletes. They're all Premier League elite footballers. But what type of athletic midfielder? Because it's going to be different. Do you want like a bruiser? No. Do you want someone who's a box-to-box midfielder? Probably. Do you want someone who's extremely good in the duels? Where are the strengths and weaknesses of that athletic midfielder and his game? Where are they going to be? And maybe where does Deshari fit into it? We've already done a video looking at options and different names, but I think just doing a video itself on the actual profile and characteristics rather than the name will, I think, help us understand exactly if we're going to sign a partner for Bruno, who's it going to be? Swavy's saying, what is Ugarte? Ugarte's strengths come out of possession. His ground coverage could be better, but he's incredibly efficient at how many tackles he puts in a game, how many tackles he actually wins per game as well. Not good enough in terms of recycling possession, but we'll see. We'll see. Stu, these aren't for sale. None of these are for sale yet. Just haven't done it. But there's a potential that we start doing that. And I've been thinking about that. So yeah, it's all going on in the background. Richard Rios is another name who's on the list here, as are Wilfred and Ndidi. We saw him getting linked yesterday. I mean, I could speak about him this morning, but Wilfred and Ndidi. Declan Rice type player would be great, says Mike. I remember the summer that we were linked for Declan Rice, and my perspective on him had absolutely changed. Do I think he was a £100 million midfielder? I don't think I would have been upset if United signed him. Remember, that was when, who was it that Solskjaer wanted? He wanted Declan Rice. He wanted Sancho as well. He also wanted Haaland. What could have been? Antony, I'm not sure I would say that Ugarte was brilliant last season, but I would certainly say that I think people were harsher on Ugarte in terms of saying how good or bad he was. I don't think he was brilliant, but I think he was better than a lot of United fans gave him credit for. I think it's more the fact that United fans sat there and watched João Neves, who replaced Ugarte, go on to win the Champions League and be incredible, and that's where the frustration and the anger came from. That's what I think. Danny was saying to West Ham, Declan Rice was definitely a 100 mil player, and that's kind of part and parcel of the value of a player, isn't it? Sekou Kone, and look, man, you can talk about Sekou Kone, but there's no way that United are going into next season and, we're going to bring an athletic midfielder through, and we're just going to bring through an 18-year-old from the academy and not sign anybody. No, we need to sign someone experienced. I'm not saying that Sekou Kone doesn't have the ability to come through, but there's no way that I want United to burn Sekou Kone by putting that sort of responsibility on him in a similar sort of fashion to what we did last season with Rasmus Højlund. That's what it would be. You could say that Casemiro being there could help him understand, and that's possible, but I actually want Casemiro to be sold this summer. Right, my lunchtime video, actually, speaking about midfielders, I think a conversation about Kobbie Mainoo is needed. Kind of long overdue. I'm going to give you a sort of a complete update on any whispers that's been said around his contract situation. Show you what he's been getting up to this summer. He's definitely working hard. He's on holiday with Euro. I think Loftus-Cheek as well. And we'll then run through in that video just my opinion on where I see him fitting in next season. Teti, you know what my opinion is on Onana. If you don't, I would love United to sign Onana, but let's see what goes on there. The little rectangle disappeared in the corner. Unbelievable, Jeff. I'll get that sorted. But look, thank you everyone for tuning in. If you are new to United People's TV, make sure you please subscribe. I'll be here tomorrow. Fingers crossed I'll be here later on today with another little cheeky here we go and an extra live. Because if there's ever an extra live that's not at 10 a.m., means some big news has happened. And I'll be here, all right? Much love, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. And thank you all for all the gifted memberships earlier. Always means a lot. It really does.